Hello, it's Dennis Dunaway.
Hi, Dennis. How are you? It's Tig. How's it going?
Hi, Tig. It's going well, thanks.
Great to have you with us. We have Dennis Dunaway, original bassist with the original Alice Cooper group, on the phone. And Dennis, you have a brand new autobiography. I haven't had a chance to delve into it yet. I can't wait to, though, but people are talking about it, and I'm hearing great things about it. Snakes, Guillotines, Electric Chairs, My Adventures in the Alice Cooper group. What made you finally decide that it was time to write this book?
Well, there were two reasons. First of all, my daughters got tired of hearing me correct stories over the years and said, Dad, just write a book.
Yeah.
And the other reason is I ended up in the hospital in serious condition, and I got fan mail, snail mail back then. 97 is when I started the book. And so all these fans were writing me from all over the world, and I thought, I think I'll get back out there and show them my appreciation, and I started the book then.
So is this a project that's been going on for many years right now?
18 years.
Wow, that's
longer
something.
than the original group was together.
Well, let's talk about the original group, Dennis. 64 to 75. The band is huge success. Great albums like Love It to Death, Killer, School's Out, Billion Dollar Babies, classic albums. You had anthems, School's Out, I'm 18, great songs. You were the innovators of the shock rock show. And then all of a sudden, it's over. The band breaks up, and Alice is doing his thing with different band members. What exactly was going on around 1974, 1975, and what caused the breakup?
Well, it's a complicated story. It's kind of like Watergate, which was going on at the same time. But generally, it boils down to the band was just being driven into the ground with so much work. We were putting out 2 albums plus 2 stage concepts to go with each album twice a year.
Wow!
So it was a lot of work, and every time we thought we'd be getting a week off, we had to write another album. So
yeah.
So we got to the point where we really needed some time off. Alice and Glenn Buxton were drinking a lot. We thought that'll give them a chance to get it back together, and then we'll come back and do our next album.
Were you getting a lot of pressure from the record label? Is that what was going on as far as having to hammer out the albums and the touring?
Well, yes, contractually we had a very heavy schedule of deadlines, but also we were doing these massive tours while we were recording the albums.
Yeah.
I mean, School's Out was kind of conceived in the back of a station wagon, then we come off the road and run in the studio and lay something down and go out and do another string of gigs.
Now, after the breakup of the band, did you keep in touch with the other members throughout the years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Alice and I met when we were 16. We're still good friends. Neil is my brother-in-law. I married the drummer's sister.
That is something.
Yeah, talk about something that's not easy to do.
No, right? And you two have been together a long time, you and the wife.
Yes, going on 41 years.
That's something else. Good for you two. That is great.
Yeah, so Cindy, she designed the clothing for the Alice Cooper group, all of the stage clothes, and pretty much every album cover has her clothing designs on it.
Yep.
Glenn Buxton was always a good friend, rest in peace.
Yes, exactly.
And Michael Bruce is a good friend. In fact, we did a show together at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last week. That's the band that I'm in, Blue Coupe, with
cool.
Joe and Albert Bouchard of Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, too, Blue Coupe, with you and the Bouchard brothers. How did that come about?
Well, we got to know each other back in 72 when I chose them to be the opening act for the Alice Cooper tour.
Yep.
And we've been friends ever since. And for many years, we'd get together and jam or do demos for the fun of it. And then finally, we decided, well, let's get serious and make it a band and go out and do some gigs. And so it's going on 7 years now.
Oh, that's awesome. I know you guys get out, you do the classic BOC stuff and Alice Cooper group stuff, and you seem to be having a good time. Joe Bouchard, another great friend of the radio station here, another great guy.
Yes, actually, years ago, I found out about your radio station through Joe.
Oh, did you? How about that?
Yeah. We were actually, I think we were doing a gig up in Millbrook. It was Joe Bouchard and friends. And I used to joke, tease him that if I didn't show up, his friends would be an empty stool.
That's awesome.
And anyway, Robin would come around.
Yeah.
And,
Robin Taylor, of course.
So it's been quite a few years now.
Yeah, that's a great little scene out there.
Connecticut rocking.
Oh, thank you, Dennis. And you have some stuff coming up, I know. You have a Q&A coming up on July 12th at a place called Rough Trade in Brooklyn.
That event will be the co-author, Chris Hadenfield, who worked for Rolling Stone for a dozen years back in the glory days.
Okay,
he wrote the cover story of the Alice Cooper Group for Rolling Stone in '72. And so he and I worked on the book together. So that event will be us discussing the writing of the book, and then 2 days that'll be on July 12th.
Yep.
And then on the 14th, Blue Coop will be doing a show, concert, book signing event at the Cutting Room in New York City.
Oh, that should be great. That's going to be the book release party and performance that you guys are doing, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we also do some acoustic things at the book signing events. We will be doing one of those at Barnes & Noble in Westport at 7 p.m. on July 16th. So that will be me and Chris Hadenfield talking about the book and doing a Q&A. And then Blue Coop will get up and we'll do some acoustic songs. I hear Neil Smith will be there. So
oh, that's awesome.
It'll be a blast.
Well, the promotion tour rolling on. A lot of good things coming up in support of the new autobiography, huh?
It is. The St. Martin's Press is already printing more copies.
That's excellent.
I can't believe it. It took 18 years for it to come out, and now that it's out, my head is spinning.
I can imagine. You got to be proud of it, though, Dennis. I mean, this is something you've been working on for, like you said, 18 years. It's been a labor of love, just like the Alice Cooper Group, and a lot of hard work, just like the Alice Cooper Group. So what I intended to do, and Chris Hadenfield was on the same wavelength, was to put the reader in the station wagon with the band while we were thinking up all those ideas. And I also wanted it to be a smooth read and a fun read, and that's what the band was all about, all the fun we had. Let's talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Dennis. 2011, the band is inducted. How did that feel, and what was going through everybody's mind when they were going to be getting together for that great event?
Oh, man, it was like picking up right where we left off. Our rehearsals were a heck of a lot of fun. The whole thing, the day at the Waldorf Astoria in the Grand Ballroom was just unbelievable. The morning started with a rehearsal where I found myself on stage with the CBS Orchestra, Paul Schaefer, Elton John, Darlene Love, Bette Midler, on and on and on, all these people, and we're all singing the Do Ron Ron. I'm like, it just doesn't get better than this. And that was the beginning of the day.
Yeah, right. Something you would have never thought would have happened in your lifetime, probably. Being in a room with that cast of characters singing along. I mean, that's just something else.
Yeah, so you walk out to the front of the stage and you're playing, and you look down and there's Bruce Springsteen and Michael Douglas, and it's like,
unreal.
oh, okay, well, this is quite an audience.
Yeah. Well-deserved honor, of course, Dennis. I mean, finally, it took long enough, but 2011, you and the original Alice Cooper Group, of course, getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What's your feeling on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? A lot of people have negative feelings towards it. What's your feelings about it? Are you proud of it?
I've always defended them. I love it. Every time I go there, and I've probably been there a dozen times, including a week ago, I walk in there, and I always get so absorbed in all of these wonderful things. Now, as far as what bands are not in there that people have a valid gripe about, I just say, if they inducted everybody that deserves to be in tomorrow, what will they do the next year?
Yep, you're right.
And since people have been saying that, several of those bands have been inducted, so it will happen.
Yeah, definitely.
What about Blue Oyster Cult? I honk their horn when I'm there.
Oh, yeah. Another band that deserves to be in there. Yeah, it'll happen one day. You just give it time.
Yeah. Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum staff are wonderful. every time I go there, it's VIP red carpet treatment for me and my friends, and
That's
it's
awesome.
just an absolutely stellar staff. So that's what I have to say about it. Complain all you want about the voting system, but we can complain about any voting system,
Yeah, no, exactly. Should people go to DennisDunaway.com for all the info on what you're doing with the book tour and also for Blue Coupe?
Everything's there, BlueCoupeBand.com. You can go to Blue Coupe Facebook or Dennis Dunaway Facebook public page is the most active. But I'm easy to find. You can pretty much put in my name and track me down. It's still really me, even though it's getting very overwhelming for me to try to keep up with it. Yeah, I wish I could answer everybody's inquiries and messages. I just can't sometimes, but I do really appreciate them. They're telling me that that if I can continue selling books at the rate that we're doing, that I may have a shot at New York Times bestseller list. I hate to hex it by even saying that.
Oh, I hope it happens, Dennis, for you. I mean, I'm sure, as I said, I didn't get to read the book yet. I just got it in my hands, but this week I'm going to delve into it, and I cannot wait to read all these stories that you have.
Okay, well, I'll delay your book report for another week then.
I'll give you a full review next week. How about that?
Yeah, be brutal.
Yeah, will do. We've been speaking with Dennis Dunaway, the original bassist for the original Alice Cooper group. The brand new autobiography is out, Snakes, Guillotines, Electric Chairs, My Adventures in the Alice Cooper Group. Don't miss them in New York City. A couple of events coming up, the Q&A in Brooklyn, actually, July 12th at Rough Trade, along with Chris Hoddenfield, who helped with the book. And then Blue Coupe going to be performing at the book release party. That's going to be July 14th, Cutting Room in New York City. And that should be a great event. More info, DennisDunaway.com, and pick up the new book. And Dennis, thanks so much for chatting with us for a little bit today and talking about the book.
Of course, Tig. I really enjoyed it. All right, bye.
All right, take care.